Hello everyone. This is your host Rohan Tandel from InnoHealth Magazine Studio. I welcome you to this podcast produced by Innovation Curious with a mission to spread awareness and knowledge of various facets of healthcare innovation. This podcast is ninth in the series Voices of IC Innovator from InnoHealth Magazine, the first magazine in India on healthcare innovations. In this series, we will be exploring the essence of the IC Innovator Club through its club members' perspectives. Today, we are going to have a conversation with a guest speaker, Dr. S. Venkat. Dr. Venkat is a faculty at IIM Lucknow and has 30 years of experience and holds a PhD in operations management. He was a research fellow at Nanyang Business School, Singapore, a Fulbright fellow, USA, and certified in lean healthcare. He published 120 research papers and teaches healthcare management, operations, and supply chain management. Welcome, Dr. Venkat, to our podcast. How are you today, sir?
Very, very fine. And it's my pleasure to be part of this very important activity that you people are doing.
Sir, it's our pleasure to have you here. Thank you, sir. So now coming to the podcast, let me elaborate you on the flow of this podcast. First, I would be asking you a series of questions and we may discuss your views and opinions on it. So let us begin.
Yeah, most welcome.
So as we know, we grow in a career with the help of various experiences, be it good or bad. Those experiences bring in some important lessons. The realization of such lessons depend on the person. So my question to you is, what is that one thing or that one lesson that you wish you knew at the start of your career? Or say you made a realization after many years and would have preferred otherwise?
I think it's a very pertinent opening question. And my own experience itself is, I can talk about my experience and share my couple of views. For anyone, starting career is the first step of their ambition. And many a times people make, I would say, in not all cases, which is same thing is true, but in certain cases, if somebody is not getting what they want and they try to shift the track after some time. I won't say this is wrong, but in my case, I started my career as a teacher, and which was a very, very interesting career for me because I am the first generation educationist from my family. I come from a agriculture background. I choose to be, when I was student, I tried two things, or rather during my student days, I tried for a defense job. I went up to interview level and all, but finally I didn't get selected. That was the student days. After student days, when I got my MTech and subsequently I started my career as a teacher and I continued as a teacher and I completed my PhD. And my interest in the research, the corporate research, made me to quit my academic teaching job. And of course, I went into research itself to Singapore Honeywell Labs. Then there I could explore reasonably good opportunities. Then I worked in Honeywell Research Labs for some time. Then I switched to Nanyang Business School and MIT postdoctoral fellowship. So that is how my mid part of the career started. And my regular teaching was started at Hindi Engineering College, Chennai, which was one of the best campuses where I lived. And in fact, I worked in a best of the best institutions and organizations. So my current thing is, whatever I do as a teacher, I could see a lot of opportunities in that teaching field. I can mold some of my students who are interested in the direction of entrepreneurship or whatever that career can be. And as you all know, that IIM platform is very powerful. I worked in university setup. I worked in IIM setup, the IIT, as well as corporate labs. I would say among all these platforms, IIM platform is very, very powerful. So I enjoy my teaching, the up-to-date or rather some advanced courses, etc. So that is where I could see healthcare also is my passion because of my association with doctors like Dr. V.K. Singh and others. Based on my personal experience, I thought, let me offer something what is very sensible. So in this, after getting into this healthcare domain, I could see a lot of opportunities in the form of startups. And a lot of my students who are interested in any career, I tell them first thing is health is everybody's subject. So you want to do something in healthcare, it is the right time. So I would say that I am enjoying my current portfolio as a teacher as well as mentoring a few startups, etc. This is what is my career. And in your career, wherever you start, at every point of your career, you will get at least ample number of opportunities to make yourself comfortable and pursue what you want. So my message in this question is that you may get a chance to start your career with what you want. Even if that is not the case, even if you get something not so a dream job kind of thing, but you can make it as your dream or make it as your strength. So make use of the opportunity. That's my message. So I hope I've answered the first part of the question.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Career is one thing, and pursuing that career the way you want to put it in the platform that is facilitating you. That facilitating platform is very, very important. So that's my view on that.
That's a great answer, sir. Moving ahead, talking about growth in career, we are influenced by many things, say a book, a quote, maybe a dialogue or speech from a person or any other thing, depending on the person. But some of the things or say resources leave different kinds of impact. Some become a means to reach the ends and some leave life-changing impacts. So my question to you is, what are the resources that had a major influence on you as a professional or as an individual?
Very good. I think I must congratulate you and your team for formulating such a nice questions. Let me put it this question answers into two parts or even three parts. The one is, as I mentioned in the first question itself, the platform is very important. The organization culture and organization resource levels, and I'm lucky that at all stages of my career, I got a wonderful organizations and wonderful organization people or the leadership of that organization is very, very crucial. And I could get that kind of support. And your professional colleagues in that platform or in that organization is the biggest resource. It is not about computer, it's not about infrastructure, etc. The biggest resource is your collegial or your colleagues, how they encourage you, how you work with them. That is the collaboration with your colleagues, both inside the organization and outside the organization, is something extraordinarily important. And for your information, you can even look at my Google Scholar. I think I have the maximum number of collaborators with whom I have published in my area of research interest. And the another important thing is, the family support and friends is equally important. Without family, without friends' encouragement, it's very difficult. And the overall ecosystem. For example, I tell you, I am interested in healthcare. As a Fulbright scholar, I was interested. I did my Fulbright scholar fellowship on healthcare, and when I was working on that, I could develop a case study on one of the medical device companies located in Indore. That the name of that institute and this organization has gelled with so nicely that I was able to get this acceptance of my request, a proposal with that company. And they were able to permit me to pursue that case. And in fact, that case study has been published. And see, this kind of ecosystem and the partnerships with both the industry and the academic institutions, government for that matter, is a great thing. And as an individual, I would say my role models are, people like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir and a few others. And I want to do something different and which is useful for the society. And I would say whatever you do, you should enjoy that, as well as it should be useful for as many people as possible in the society. So in that direction, my research, my courses, I work very closely with the MSMEs. I work with government, and the collaboration is the key. And your self-initiative is the most important thing in that direction in terms of resources. Nobody is going to come and tell you that these are the set of resources that I am giving you. Please carry on. You have to generate, you have to try, you have to struggle a lot to make things happen. That's my message. Yeah. Persuasion is the key.
True, sir. Diligent efforts will lead to the success ultimately.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I think you're smart. You have put it in right words. Yes.
So, moving ahead, like resources, we come across many personalities whose life decisions or maybe passion towards their career or any other attribute which make us want to mirror those personalities. So I would like to know which person or who are the people you idealize and why.
Okay. See, this is very simple. What we learned in the school level: Guru Vishnu, Guru Brahma, Guru Devo, Maheshwara. So the Guru is everything. Guru's influence on me is more than 100%. The Guru, both at my school level, right from the school days, whatever stage or age from which I can remember or recall, the influence of my teachers is very, very high. Even today, I'm in constant touch with my gurus. The first inspiration for me is my gurus. In fact, I have done few studies also along with my gurus. Even now, with my ex-boss, Professor Ravichandran, we are doing something very interesting stuff with Tirupati Balaji Temple. It is worth mentioning, which is very unique project for my life, I tell you. So that is the kind of motivation that I take from my gurus, and they are also very kind to mentor me, guide me, and everything. That is first one is guru. The second thing is the people like Dr. VK and all. Though they are not my gurus as the student and teacher, but they are my gurus in the sense that they are the people who have achieved something in their career, in their life, in the field of their expertise. When I'm working in the area of healthcare and all, so these kind of people are really a very big motivation for me. And of course, there are other, again, as I mentioned in the previous this thing, the friends influence and the family support, etc., is also very important. As far as the ideology concerned, my gurus are my ideologies.
So greatly said. Often we, in pursuit of our goals and all, we forget those basic teachings where, proper devotion to our gurus, the teachers, should be a must to gain whatever we want in a life going ahead. So well said, sir. So
Thank
now,
you.
talking about careers, many people face various hardships. So I would like to know some of the hardships you faced in your career and how you found inspiration from such situations.
See, I think as I already shared at the beginning of the first question, the career, starting of the career, I just span through that. Maybe some repetition has to be drawn here. The career itself is a journey. No journey is smooth, and you can make it as smooth as possible. I would say no journey is smooth, and you can make your journey as smooth as possible by addressing that with a lot of optimism. And I have gone through a lot of hardships. I left my first, very dream job. And when I went to Singapore, everything was a big challenge. Culture was a big challenge. And the role that I was taken was a big challenge. And in fact, I teach such kind of case studies also in my course. And I tell my students, I include my experiences in the teachings that I do by taking appropriate cases for the students that they can learn from IIM platform. I always say that MBA is nothing but challenging yourself. Career is, you can take it as a challenge for yourself, and there will be a lot of hardships. Your own experience counts a lot. It is not somebody else's experience. Somebody may be having a good experience of changing a job. For example, I have changed a number of jobs. This is my 8th organization. IIM Lucknow is my 8th organization. And every change comes with a huge cost, I'm telling you, financially. My message to people always, even in the IIM platform, that don't look for unnecessary change. You can make the difference wherever you are, but it may take some more time. No change is free. No change is easy. And no change is, easily predictable. Every change is unpredictable. Are you ready for this unpredictable change? So if I say the hardships, the changing the career from one organization to another organization, or within the organization also, due to a lot of changes in the responsibilities and roles and responsibilities. But one has to be prepared for that. And my message in this context is that no change is easy, and the change comes with a lot of cost, both time and effort, and also it affects your mental stability as well, or mental health. So one has to be prepared. And I can say honestly, if I want to tell something what I have learned and what my family has learned, my family has become very comfortable wherever I am going. So take your family with you when the changes are inevitable. When the changes are inevitable, if your family is with you, then I think you can take up that. Without your family support and without your family with you during this, I would say, challenging times, is very difficult. So that's my take on this. Change is costly. Be prepared for it.
Moving ahead, besides your current profession, what profession would you like to explore?
Yes, excellent question. I think, as I told you, every question is well thought through, no doubt. Based on my education and family background and my current interest now, I basically come from agriculture background, agriculture family. And though I am a engineering by qualification, but my activities after a certain time, I started teaching very important courses. And as part of my professional development or professional career and professional interest, my first preference is looking something in the area of agriculture. Let us say I want to start some fine dining restaurant, catering, I would say, and that too it should be a unique model like Arvind Hospital, affordable, very unique. Whatever the Arvind Hospital does, they does it differently. I even named my this venture as a dignified dining, not even fine dining. I call it as a dignified dining. The first option is that. The second career option would be as being a teacher and interested in MSMEs, etc. I want to mentor some of these young entrepreneurs and also take up some entrepreneurial opportunities, if there is any, in the area of healthcare. That's my second preference. Why second preference? Because I'm not a health expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. I only have interest in healthcare. And my family background is also nobody's there in healthcare field. So it needs some family support and ecosystem, etc. And health is a very complicated subject, whereas food is not that complicated. Health and food is a very important part of anybody's life, of course, education as well. So my first preference is food. After my this teacher career, I want to take up fine dining, or rather I call it as dignified dining. Some places like in my native place, like Kalahasti or Tirupati, kind of thing. You can't do everything everywhere. So that's where wherever I go for a dining purpose, I start interacting with those people. I take a lot of inputs from them, but it is not an easy job. You can't entrust this job to somebody else and then say that, yes, it's happening. You have to involve yourself fully, and whole time is required for that. So that's what my interest is.
So you have thought these professions through. I would like to agree that, sir, thinking about this profession doesn't mean that we don't love our profession, but it's just that exploring these professions would make us really happy. And the smile you had describing that said all about it, sir.
Correct. I'm a foodie. I want to do something in the food, and also offering food, quality food at acceptable things, because everything is commercial. Of course, I don't know how this can be molded or rather implemented. When you actually enter into that, that's a different story. But my friends and myself have already identified some decent places in and around Tirupati area. Hopefully, I'll be able to, when you visit in course of time Tirupati, I may invite you. You can be my guest at that place. I wish I have the blessings of Lord Balaji.
Sure, sir. I would like to come to your place.
Yes, sure.
Have a dine.
Yeah.
So moving ahead, through the career, people do suffer from stress at some point in time. For each one of us has our own way of reducing or say eliminate it through some sort of activity. So my question to you is, by doing what makes you feel your best self, or say rejuvenate you from the daily workload and stress?
People say stress. Honestly feeling, I have never felt too much of stress, because I do what I like. The fundamental to my own self, I'm not advising anybody, or I'm not expert on stress management, etc. Since I do something what I like, that's what the platform is very important. Stress is a function of the platform where you are working. I am in an academic institution, and IIM is known for its freedom. IIM is known for its autonomy. I do whatever that I feel like doing, and I'm thankful to my leadership, my organization. At almost all organizations, wherever I worked in a place where they permitted me to work what I like. Of course, I have to do my teaching. I can't say I will do this without teaching. That's ruled out. You have to deliver what is the system expecting, and apart from that, what you can do what you want. So, as far as the stress is concerned, since I'm doing what I like, I don't feel too much of stress. But sometimes, yes, sometimes it gets stuck. So I also taken basic courses on yoga, For example, like basic course on art of living yoga courses I have taken. And I've also went to Vivekananda Ashram for some sort of 1 week or 2 weeks program looking at my health. I'm now 50 plus, so I have to be careful about my health also. I'm not regular in doing yoga, but I would say yoga is the best medicine. And practicing yoga regularly makes you very, very different. And I was practicing yoga for more than 2-3 months continuously. Even my friends and my family members said there is a lot of glow in my face. Now I want to go back and do that. I'm not that very regular. That is one. And travel to few places like, I like spiritual. I like places like temples, Tirupati temple, for example. Any number of times you can go, Buloka Vaikuntham. So when I go there, I think my satisfaction levels and the energy levels and all is completely different. So I visit such kind of good places, hill stations, sea shores, those kind of places. But I'm not that great traveler, but I prefer traveling. Yoga, travel, and for travel to normal places and as well as spiritual places. And more than that, feel better rejuvenated. I sleep reasonably well. I get very fast sleep. I fell asleep very fast. So since I am doing something what I like, so I don't have too much of worries. So I sleep very solidly. But my sleep disorders are sleep a little bit different. So that sometimes that troubles me. Otherwise, my message is doing enjoying what I do, or do what I enjoy, and reasonable good food and yoga. And if I can make these things a little more regular, I think I'll be fine. And I also run half marathon. Please let me tell you, the physical health is very important. You say that I am mentally strong, this, that, etc. No, you have to be physically strong, mentally strong, and hence you will be health-wise strong. You cannot be strong by mental alone without taking care of the physical strength or physical health. So I run half marathon, but I want to walk very regularly as well as run. So my reservation or rather relief for me is when I walk without, I would say walking without phone is a big relief. Walking without phone is a big relief. Let me underline this. So that's my message on that. Yes, please.
Moving ahead, I would like to talk about IIM. So what I would like to ask to you is what it means for you to be a member of this club.
Member of this club is like another degree for me. My association with this InnovatorCLUB Health Club is like another degree for me. If I put it, is another qualification for me, because I want to do something in healthcare. Whenever I share some information about, I'm teaching healthcare management from IIM platform. How come IIM is doing healthcare? Yes, we have healthcare means it's not a hospital. Healthcare is, people mistake that it is a medical. I talk about, I take a hospital as any other corporate organization, any other organization, or rather it is most complex organization. So Innovators Club is the biggest platform after my IIM platform. Let me tell you, this is the biggest strength of mine today is my association with people like Dr. VK and his team, and this platform like Innovatia IC Club. I get an opportunity to interact with the experts who are the latest in their field. They come with so much of experience, 30, 40, 50 years of experience. People are also there. Dr. VK is known for his credibility all over the world. He's a person who's known worldwide, not countrywide. So I would say this is a great platform for me personally, and I would even say that is for my profession, I'm able to connect to the right people on the right topic, including some of my startup students, people who are coming to my startups. Even I have referred a lot of people for their funding, etc. It's not only a platform for me. I'm seeing this as a big platform for my students who come with the startup ideas, etc. And in fact, I requested Dr. VK Singh to be advisor to our incubation center. There are a number of incubators are there to advise them. So that way, as I mentioned previously also, that collaboration between the institutions and the other partners in the ecosystem is very, very grateful. And I say that in NCR particularly, why I came to NCR is one of the reasons is that here there is a very good ground for my healthcare activities as well as SME activities. There is a double advantage for me. So I'm completely enjoying this. And in fact, my students also write to Health magazine, as you are aware. And I have also written some of the articles for this magazine. And that magazine is also become the learning resource for my course. I don't know whether you are aware or not. Let me tell you, it's not only club activities, and the Health magazine is one of the major resources for my course in my institute for my students, and they also love, and some of them are contributing to writing to this. So that is a mutually beneficial platform. Health Club is everything plus me. It is next to my IIM platform. I respect and I enjoy, and I request Dr. VK and his entire team for extend their continuous support in this direction. It is a great platform for me, not only for me, including for my students.
Sir, as you rightly mentioned that healthcare is misunderstood as only the clinical part of it, rather than the whole ecosystem. So putting inside the management part would enable it to grow more, and getting the members like you to connect with those on the clinical side would enable them to perform a lot more better. So I think that the club is also much more appreciating your efforts and would be thankful to be a part of this club. So moving ahead, I would like to ask, what are the functions that this club performs and how does it help a member to grow as an individual?
As my example itself is a great learning platform for academicians like me. This is a great platform for startup entrepreneurs, starting entrepreneurs like nowadays healthcare startup. It's not only talking about healthcare; it talks about non-healthcare opportunities also. So it provides a better connectivity, reliable connectivity with the right people for the right advice or right resources. It also providing the funding channels as well as mentoring thing. For example, IC Club is extending the mentorship of some of the people, and also conducting of workshops. IC Club is conducting workshops. If there is an expert area, for example, AI in healthcare was a beautiful workshop. And similarly, there are a number of workshops on business opportunities. And for example, IC Club has conducted a number of workshops. What are the opportunities for Indians outside India, let us say in Europe, US, or UK and other parts of the world? Similarly, for those people who want to come to India, what is this? I would say this is the bridge between not only two countries, bridge to number of countries. Health Club is acting as a advocacy, and it is a bridge for several countries between India and rest of the world. I would say it is a bridge between India and rest of the world in many ways: technical advice, financial advice, mentorship, workshops, subject knowledge, and several things. Yes.
So I think that's the benefit that you get from being in this club, that you can interact with people from various industries and various domains. Correct. That it's not particularly focused in one industry, but you get a big view of all the industries. Correct. A wider perspective, I would say.
Absolutely. I will add one more thing. I got an opportunity to listen to the best of the speakers of the world at global level. For example, Chris from UK is known for his credibility and the expertise. I could attend his workshop. All these things as a complimentary. Let me tell you, Dr. VK is doing a lot of things magnanimously. Even if it is charging, is just not even covering the cost, part of the cost. So that is one thing. And I also took the help of Dr. VK Singh to interact with my students, and I also encourage them to go for lean certification in healthcare, etc. So as part of his motivation and guidance only, I also became lean certified in healthcare, I would say. So there are a lot of benefits, both monetarily, non-monetarily, I would say immense. So that way is these workshops and the range of activities that they are doing, like including tours to some of the organizations, healthcare organizations, etc., is a great learning experience. And webinars are also highly informative. The kind of webinars that have been conducted, I think I request the webinar series to come back more rigorously. Yes, I think this is gone. The recent past, there was a few number of webinars. I think it was worth going back to webinars with the experts all over the world. Yes.
So going ahead, we all know what innovation is, but the value of this word changes through the perspective of the individual. So what I would like to know is, what does innovation mean to you, considering the healthcare industry?
I think I have to recall what I said in one of the health conferences. Innovation is there is no fixed definition for innovation. Rather, there is no standard definition for innovation like any other term. And India way of doing innovations are completely different, and that is where the word coined the word has become a word in the dictionary. Innovation, India way of doing things. India is known for its jugaad, but people don't accept that as the innovation. That's why they call it as jugaad. And there is also one book called Reverse Innovation, written by Professor Vijay Govindarajan. Since these things have emerged in India, so he named it as reverse innovation. Partially, I have my own reservations on accepting reverse innovation. Innovation is an innovation, whether it is emerged from rich place or the poor place or whatever it is, a rich country or poor country or whatever country it is. It is independent of that. Rather, innovations come from necessity is the mother of innovation, I would say. Anything that you do to meet the necessity of for example, in healthcare, India is a large populous country. You can't afford to go for infrastructure like any other country, even including our neighboring countries in Asia. India, the number of beds, etc., is also very less. How do you manage the shortage of these beds in case of crisis? Like, for example, during this recent crisis that we are facing and faced also wave 1, wave 2. I would say DRDO, for example, DRDO has come out with a hospital in less than 9 days, or rather 12 days, right? That hospital came up within 12 days with all the resources that we have. So meeting the necessity, emergency, during, for example, building this hospital with hangars is a great example of India's way of innovation. No other country, to my knowledge, has done the 1,000-bedded hospital using German hangars, putting that kind of infrastructure. Of course, they're also the people who are involved are army background. I would say what you do in army context in emergencies is the best example of innovation. Saving yourself is the innovation. Saving yourself is innovation. Anything that you do to save life is the innovation. Then comes the cost of doing things. If you do it at a low cost, for example, Arvind Eye Hospital doing the cataract surgery by improving their processes. I use this case study in my course also. Cost reduction, ultra low. Nowhere else in the world is possible to do a cataract surgery for less than 20,000. It is paid, and it is free for the rest of the people. How Arvind Eye Hospital is able to do free surgeries to the extent of 70+% is another example of service delivery innovation. Doing things differently, improving the productivity at a large scale is also innovation. And effectively and efficiently and differently, doing things differently. Questioning is the innovation. The first part of innovation is questioning. Can I change this? Can we change this rule of the game for the benefit of people? Don't take rule as the constraint. Relaxing the constraints, trying to do something within the framework is the big picture of innovation according to me.
So that's a great perspective.
Yeah.
So for my last question, I would like to ask, where can our listeners connect to you?
I'm not that good in technology or use of technology platform like social platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I think, as usual, like others, these are the 2-3 areas where I'm not that active, but reasonably okay. I used to post off late. I used to post some of my videos on YouTube. And of course, my lectures that I have given, my special sessions I given in health conference and things like that is also available on the web. Internet is the best option. And LinkedIn, I reasonably see and I respond also. So the best place to see is the Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. YouTube, I have put up a few, podcasts. I have given one podcast, a similar podcast for my IIM Bangalore students on Ayushman Bharat. So those kind of videos are also there, but I am not that active. So these are the social platforms, social networks can be a better platform. Otherwise, email. People write emails. A lot of students reach out to me through email, and my phone number is also freely available almost in many places. I don't keep it for secret kind of thing. So these are some of the channels. Otherwise, IIM platform, so well known. The name of IIM, if you put my name, a lot of things also will come up. Like anybody else, internet is the better channel. Yes.
The link to connect with our guest, Dr. Venkat, will be down in the description. Thank you, Dr. Venkat, for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Naveen, and it's great interacting with you and your entire team. I'm thankful to everyone at InnovatorCLUB, and particularly Dr. VK Singh. He is like God to me, next to God. That's all I can say. He's such a nice person. It's pleasure working with him, and I'm glad that I got such a nice mentor. And whatever that I'm doing in healthcare is the main source of inspiration for me. You have mentioned some time back. What is your inspiration? The greatest inspiration for me in IIM platform to do healthcare is Dr. VK Singh and healthcare fraternity like AIMS doctors and some of the hospitals like Arvind Eye Hospital, all those people. And I take this opportunity to thank all these organizations whose experience or my interaction with them I'm able to share here. Thank you very much for that.
I would also like to call out to our audience to leave a comment with a review and let us know whether you like the podcast. Drop down a comment if you have any podcast ideas or recommendations. You can also connect with us if you have a healthcare innovation journey of your own to be a part of our podcast series. And for more such content on healthcare and innovation, visit innohealthmagazine.com. Stay safe. Goodbye from your host, Rohan Tandil from InnoHealth Magazine Studio. Thank you.